For full episodes as they air, listen to Rants Hollywood Talk on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and blogtalkradio.com/GrantsRants.
Broadcasting from Hollywood, California, it's Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk.
Kathy Griffin drops a hell of a story on YouTube, and Andy Cohen and Harvey Levin are called out. The Beadors and OC split. Surprised? Reality TV icons Daneille Staub and Tiffany New York Pollard continue their status as television legends. This and more with Paul Roysdon right here. Let the ranting begin. I am sitting across from producer and host of the Reality Rundown podcast, Paul Roysdon. Hello.
Hi, hey, Grant. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
Yes, thank you.
I had the pleasure of being on your show yesterday, the Reality Rundown podcast. I'll say it again.
Yeah, plug it.
Yes.
Keep plugging it, right?
So, I mean, you're in the right place for co-hosting on a show about reality TV people and fans, and, so I'm glad that you're here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I said I love your place. It's so cute.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just like my little hideaway.
IKEA is perfect example of how to get an apartment together in here.
Well, there's no IKEA in here.
There isn't?
Thank God, no.
I said that's like the LA go-to. Just get a couple things in IKEA and throw it together.
Yeah, no, that was the one thing. I have one dresser, but it's away, and that's it. I purposefully was like, no, I want to. I mean, I got stuff offline. This isn't exactly, a restoration hardware or anything, but I wanted to keep it.
Yeah, a little Pinteresty. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So let's talk about what I thought was going to be the breaking news of the weekend was Shannon Beador's divorce. But here we are. There's a lot more that has broke, and we're going to get into all of it.
So much.
But this is a good kicking off point for all the topics that we're going to get into. So if you watch reality TV, this is a good show to watch because it's like, this is all we're talking about today, and there's a lot to cover. Real Housewives of OC. So they taped the reunion, and at the reunion, they broke the divorce. And I'm glad they're not waiting for the reunion to come around for us to have to learn about it. Like, they probably knew it was going to leak. I mean, it's big news.
Oh, yeah. I said that was, Shannon, like we said before, Housewives, they're the most calculated. They know what they're doing. It was perfect because it's like, did she secure herself for the next season? I feel like we knew where that's kind of shifting towards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they have to keep her.
I'm not. I think I said this to you yesterday. I'm like, I don't want her to stay, but I feel like now people will be genuinely interested to see how now David's not in the mix. How's she gonna be? Are we gonna see a different side of her? A less needy Shannon, which would be nice, maybe.
With Shannon, they could have her be a friend of and have her get her life together, and we could check in with her. But I think they're gonna milk it. So.
See, I would like that friend of. I think let her get away from the cameras, take care of her family, do what she needs to do to be more zen. Because I said when she came in her first season, I loved her. She was great. She gave us exactly what we wanted.
Yep.
She was irate, crazy, but there was something likable about her.
Yeah.
And then I said she's just now completely lost everything that she was in that first season.
I really do think the show has ruined her life, and hopefully this is the beginning of something new. They blame the weight. The quote with the weight was a wedge in the relationship, and she says that David wasn't willing to do any of the work in keeping their relationship together. And then she said in an interview, I believe this was with People, which I thought was odd. She gave an exclusive interview to People. I thought it would be like in their contract they would have to go to like an E or a Bravo, like Daily Dish.
They would have to have an Andy Cohen one-on-one special.
Right.
Well, that could probably happen. Who knows?
Yeah, and it should. So, and they said that they have been separated for a little bit over a month, and she's been on Watch What Happens Live twice in the last 2 weeks. So I'm like, it was interesting to see what she was going through, flashing back to what she was saying in those episodes. But she said she watched herself and thought of her daughters, and she saw herself being in such denial over her relationship. I do give her credit in a way because that has to be very humbling to have to witness yourself with the world being so down and out, kind of a mess in every sense.
I feel like usually when you go on shows like this, it definitely is like, hey, let's see. It's a learning process. You see things about yourself. When I would watch her and David together, it was like cringeworthy because I'm like, you could tell he wanted nothing to do with her. Yeah. He was more invested in the pirate booty that he'd be eating in every scene. And it was really sad. And especially for the daughters it just very forced. And I felt like they just put the pressure on that whole family. It just was very not organic at all, I felt.
And it's interesting because they rented that house that they're in. So,
which I have an issue with because, okay, I'm sorry, this might be going off topic, but how do you leave a house that has a basketball court,
with your name
maybe
in
a pool in every floor, an elevator, and then you go to a house that looks like it's a 1970s cottage by the lake? It's just so outdated. I'm like, it just bothers me every time I see it.
Oh, I think that's calculated. I think that was for them to test out if they have anything left.
That's true, yeah. But you know what I mean? It's got like wooden cabinets. I'm like, what? How do you go from a house? I don't know. It just really bothers me every time I see it.
I know, with the white appliances.
I'm like, what? I was so confused.
That's why I love it. They're always milking the view. Like they don't show much of the house except for the front door and then the backyard, because that's like the best. And I mean, it's still nicer than my house. I don't live on, Newport.
Hey,
Harbor.
I mean, I would take it as well, but I'm like, is this house organic? Is it green, all around the house like it was the last house? I don't know, but
well, hopefully they can move on and find their own happy place, because if I were her, I wouldn't stay in any of those houses because they represent such a dark time.
Yeah.
So
no, David.
Speaking of OC, Andy Cohen was on his way to LAX to record the reunion, which they taped this last week at the time we're recording this show. And he flew in, and here we go. He got interviewed by TMZ, and they caught him asking if he's spoken with Kathy Griffin since he's taken over the CNN New Year's special. We all know this. And when asked if he spoke to Kathy, he said that he didn't know her. And, I can't hold back. With this, I'm resurrecting the Barbara Walters Award.
Announcing the recipient for the Barbara Walters Award for not knowing when to hang it up.
I'm giving the prestigious Barbara Walters Award to Andy Cohen because he really doesn't know when to hang it up in this moment. He took it too far. It would have been okay. I mean, I don't even know if it would have been okay. I think it would have been passable if he was like, yeah, all right, yeah, I don't know her. But they kept asking and asking.
I was going to say, after
drop it off.
Second time, he said, I'm sorry, not the second time. If he would have stopped at the second time, it would have been like, oh, okay, it was cute and funny. After the sixth time where he's like, no, I don't know her, it was like, okay, enough already. Like, we got it. Yep. Let's end this.
All he has to do is say no. Obviously, they haven't spoken. Just say, oh, yeah, no, I haven't. Since I took over since I agreed, I haven't taken it. I haven't talked to her. That's what he should say.
See, I love Andy, and I like Kathy too. I really liked her, like My Life on the D List. That was like Bravo, really, when Housewives started like jumping off. And it's kind of like after everything that now has happened to her career, I'm kind of like, is she doing it for the attention? Is she running out checks? I mean, she's living next door to Kim Kardashian, so that house has to be putting a dent in her wallet. So I don't know. I really love Andy, so I want to believe that he wasn't trying to be, nasty, but I feel like he definitely was trying to make a jab. Because I said to Matt even yesterday after we left, our podcast, I said it was just how if you didn't speak to somebody for so long and you catch them on TMZ being shady, you would take that personally. So I understood where she was coming from. I just think the accusations of the coke allegedly and all that stuff, it was like, oh yeah, why sprinkle that in?
Well, there was a lot said. Yeah, I mean, I thought when I planned this show, all it was a tweet. And Kathy said, even when it's on tape, there are doubters. He is not kidding with Paps. Was my boss for 10 years, treating me like a dog, deeply misogynistic. I was like, okay, that's a loaded tweet. I mean, that's like only a couple characters is a lot said. But then there was a 17-minute video that
which we watched.
Oh my God, I woke up to this on Saturday. I was like, this is perfect for the podcast. Like, thank God we're taping in time to include this. I watched it twice.
It's still trending, #1, which is insane.
Yeah, that is. Kathy is in a tough place. Let me just say this. My initial reaction was that she's definitely hurt and she's got nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm. That's how I feel.
So she's saying what she can. Now, I think, of course, with these things, when it gets this dirty, the truth is somewhere in the middle. So it's hard to tell. I mean, I don't know. I don't take her word for gospel, but I was trying to find reactions, and it seems pretty split down the middle. Some people really agree with what she said. And then you've got that clown, Perez Hilton, who I really don't care for. He did like live Facebook video from his backyard, and he was like, oh, well, she's a shady bitch, and I'm a shady bitch. And, I took a a picture with her last time I saw her. And I was like, what's your point? Like, it's just to piggyback on this.
Is he Team Kathy or Team Andy?
I don't think he's team anybody, but
he's playing his cards right. He knows he's got.
But he was real quick to slam Kathy. I mean, he's not classy. So in the video, she called out Harvey for calling her, and it was a very simple voicemail that he left, but she read so deep into it.
And she dropped his number. I was like, me and Matt, we like looked at each other. We're like, oh my gosh, no, she did not just do that.
And how embarrassing that he's an 818 number, just saying the Valley. Whenever I can shade the Valley, I do.
But when I started listening to what she was saying, I'm like, the whole Donald Trump, and I'm like, that kind of made me look differently at Harvey, because I'm like, you are a gay man. It just, the whole thing, it was like what she was trying to say, it wasn't, she was trying to piece everything together to make everything relevant. Harvey, Andy, and
Harvey's relationship with Trump, like you said.
And then Gloria Allred, it just was, she just was trying to make everything come together, and it just wasn't working for me.
Yeah, no, I knew about this TMZ Trump crossover and the lack of coverage they gave him. It was obvious, the lack of negative critiquing coverage. So I had a total
because they slammed her when she came out, when did the beheading thing first. So
yeah, and I have to say my taste changed when she did that, and it's not because I'm a Trump supporter. I just do not care for what she did, and it turned me off. Mm-hmm. But I think I am back on Team Kathy after this video.
I'm Team Kathy for sure. Yeah. I mean,
I don't want to be a fair weather fan, but I can honestly say I was turned off.
Yeah. See, I want the best for her, because I'm like, she's an icon. She's iconic. It's Kathy Griffin. She's paved the way, and I feel like in that respect, you have to give it to her as.
Whether you hate her or like her, I mean, she's done the work.
And she is funny. I'm like, if you watch, like when she would do the specials on Bravo, I lived for the specials. They were so good, and nobody. I mean, and I love Chelsea Handler too, but they're very different in terms of Kathy's very more pop culture, which I loved, and she would sprinkle in the Housewives and the Kardashians.
She was great for Bravo. Yeah, I heard that she said once that, I don't know if this is true, but she wanted to do another one, and they said, well, how many do we really need to do? And I was like, oh, that's not very encouraging.
And she did put Bravo, I mean, she got them, I think she said 2 Emmy Awards.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of nominations.
Andy received by serving as an executive producer.
Yeah.
So that's nice for him to pretend. I mean, just, are the Emmys still
He doesn't know her now, but if he checks that Emmy, he'll see why,
Yeah. That's what I mean. He took it too far.
Yeah.
I was going to have this be my rant of the day, but no, the Barbara Walters Award for not knowing when to hang it up is this one in this situation.
And also when you see TMZ and you're a celebrity at LAX, I mean, we've watched so many videos. You give them a little bit or you give them a lot. And I feel like if you're giving them a lot, you want it to blow up and you want it to be a thing. So, because he could have easily, like I said, after the 5th time, say, peace out, I'm catching this elevator. But he kept going on. So
yeah. Well, she said that Andy asked her to do cocaine at the offices of Watch What Happens Live, not once but twice.
And BD.
Really?
No big deal. No big deal. It's like, no, I mean,
like casual.
Well, yeah, it was so casual. I'm just like, okay, but what's the relevance of that? Like, got it. Definitely uncomfortable, not professional, but what is the relevance of that? Because that whole, then it went into Harvey. It just didn't make sense.
Well, she named a lot of names and a lot of NBC execs and people in cable. And, she knew that she wasn't going to work again by saying that. But I guess she'd say, well, I'm outing people for being useless and not supporting me and standing around while bad behavior occurs. But that's this business, and nothing surprises me. That Harvey Weinstein mess, I said it on the show, it didn't surprise me in the least. Like, I'm really not shocked. I've seen a lot of bad behavior in the small scope that I've had, and
it didn't surprise me. It surprised me in the sense of how many people knew about. Like I said, I looked at A-listers differently, like Meryl Streep and those people who you love, and I'm like, if you're that close with this person and you're in this industry, you've been in it for 40 years, you're definitely aware. If we heard about the rumors, SNL people heard about all these jokes, then you definitely knew about the rumors.
Right. Yeah, so this was interesting. Bravo released a statement saying this is completely false. This is about the whole video, just a statement in response to the whole video. They said this is completely false and we are not going to credit it with more attention. And and the Andy tweeted. He said, "I am completely." Yeah, he said, "I'm completely stunned by the story. It's 100% false and totally made up." I mean, that's a pretty good refuting tweet. I mean,
there's a lot of power behind that one tweet.
Yes,
right?
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of gross if it's a made up thing.
Yeah, I just.
But what
feel,
does she have to gain
that's what I mean.
by all this?
Especially some like an accusation like that. It's not like, oh, I saw being mean to a housewife or something. It was something just very left field, you know.
I do get Kathy feeling abandoned and let go. I mean, she talked about how her publicist, when her publicist turned on her, that was really personal. I mean, I can't put myself in her shoes, but I can only imagine when, your world turns on you like that and you've got 2 or 3 people standing behind you on a worldwide scale. I think it would F someone up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that she is not in a good place and that she really ran with this. I think she will ultimately regret it because of the amount of work that she did do to build
now
credibility.
Now it's going to discredit her, yeah, unfortunately.
So I hate to see that, but I guess when you've just had enough, you've had enough.
She really is just standing alone. I mean, and I feel after the whole Trump thing, and then her sister just passed away. She's in her 50s. She's like, what do I have to lose at this point?
Yeah.
So
I felt like she was a little paranoid, though, about that voicemail because he was just saying, I don't know the motive behind it, but he's like, well, when it's convenient, give me a call. So it wasn't like he was like trying to cook something up or anything. I mean, maybe that's his intention.
See, I took it as he didn't call her up during the Donald Trump thing. It was more a bashing, situation with her. And then now all of a sudden, hey, Kathy, and that's what I think set her off. It was like a trigger because you didn't speak to her, reach out to her during those times, but now you want to manipulate and try to get involved.
Yeah, he probably wants her reaction from Andy's thing.
To stir up something bigger, so.
Well, good for her for not doing it. I am not a fan of TMZ myself, so whatever.
You're over it.
Yeah, whatever. But I don't know. He took it too far.
Yeah.
Andy. And I don't think that this would have reached the scale. I mean, he's not responsible for Kathy's actions, but it wouldn't have reached the scale if he just said, nope, I haven't talked to her. I'm leaving. I have a reunion to do. Bye.
Maybe we can get a one-on-one special with Shannon Beador separately and then get a one-on-one with Kathy Griffin too. There you go. God, Andy's got 2 gigs lined up right now.
Mel Gibson is starring in a new movie, something about dads, and, he's sitting there at the Oscars. Now, he's a man, it's different, but everyone comes back, whether you want them here or not. So I'm wondering what Kathy's future is like. I think she's got to keep doing her independent tours and then wait 5 or 6 years before she can get back on something. Unless if maybe someone like ABC just pulls her on something, as a guest role or whatever.
I don't think she'll do something mainstream like that, but she has diehard fans. So that will last her these independent tours for a very long time, I think.
Yeah. She's not going anywhere.
No.
So anyway, speaking of Andy and Watch What Happens Live and the Watch What Happens Live offices, Daneille Staub returned to Watch What Happens Live, and she's real quick to target Dolores online.
So I saw this last night. Real Housewives. I love their Instagram account. And the Housewives know that that's like a home for diehard fans. And I saw it was the clip from Watch What Happens Live where Danielle's like, Dolores is jealous, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And Dolores is in the Instagram comments literally adding the fans. They're not even adding her, and she's replying to the fans saying, yeah, she's crazy. Yeah, she's a joke. Ha, ha, ha. And they're like throwing shade at Danielle like, oh, she looks like she got too much work done. And Dolores is interacting with them. I'm like, how much time do you have to be going through all of these comments? And they're not even adding you, and you're responding to them.
So she's responding to the negative comments.
Yeah, about Danielle. Yeah.
Oh God.
Like even it, whether it was like she's thirsty, desperate, they're making fun of how she looks, and I'm just like, come on.
Oof. Yes. That's not a good look for anybody.
No.
I mean, that's ultimately your co-star, and all this stuff about. Like Bravo is supposed to be all on top of their social media, and they have rules that what they can and can't say, and all this. Someone needs to tell OC, someone needs to tell Atlanta,
Yeah.
and someone needs to tell Dolores Catania because it's very much a problem.
Dolores is amping it up this season. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But for example, here someone said, why would Dolores be jealous of her? Dolores is gorgeous, and Dolores writes, see, no adding her whatsoever. Dolores goes, thank you. She makes up stuff. She thinks people are always looking at her. And taking pics. It's unbelievable. And the delusional stuff that goes on her head, I'm starting to find it comical. So she was like going in. It wasn't just, very small comments. She said another one, I'm as curious as everyone else. It's a whole, go check it out and look, because you'll get engulfed.
Which Instagram account is this?
Real Housewives.
Okay, yeah, shout out.
Yeah, shout out.
Did you see this article? It said that she studied how to deal with prison inmates to deal with Daneille Staub, or criminals, something like that. It was like
Daneille studied, or Dolores?
Dolores apparently studied how to deal with, but she worked as a corrections officer.
Oh,
so
yeah, she did.
I don't think she studied specifically to handle Daneille on 10 episodes of New Jersey Housewives, but
I cannot see that career path for her at all. Like when you look at her, I'm just like, it's not there.
I can't either.
Especially her blow up last week.
I still don't know how I feel about her. I really don't know.
I like her more than Sagi.
Yeah.
Sagi. I'm sorry, sweetie.
Those two, though, they have their fans, but I feel like this is a small group. I feel like a lot of people are like, why are you here? Why are you here? I don't really know.
like the additions of them last year. I thought they were good. But they were good to an extent. I said I didn't like, for example, when, Jacqueline, like Dolores and Sagi, they're ones that I feel like they don't defend Teresa on TV. I don't know. In certain situations, I mean, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but there would be times like when Jacqueline went irate saying Melissa had 6 nose jobs and Teresa was a convict. They should have gotten up and been like, you need to keep it moving, and
right.
They lack that for me. They're not, I want to say Dolores is loyal just because she's known Teresa for so long, but sometimes it doesn't reflect well on camera, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Daneille says that she has proof that Dolores spoke badly about Teresa and that she's ready to fire back.
No, she's holding out for the reunion. That's what it means. She secured a spot.
And she's all like, she went low, but I'm going to go even lower. And I love the look between Michael Rappaport and Andy at that moment. They just kind of gave each other a look like,
she is so good though with her comebacks, her one line. Like she knows what she's doing.
She knows what she's doing. Yes. She's like a Leanne Locken style. Yeah. Like when she's on camera, she knows she has a job to do.
They just light up and they take it on and go full force.
So she said that she would make up with Dina because she's important to Teresa. I have no interest in Dina. Please keep her far away.
I love Dina.
I'm so disgusted with her.
I love her. I always liked her the first season. I can't stand Jacqueline. I would be okay with if her and Teresa can make amends. Caroline, I want absolutely nothing to do with.
Yeah.
She's awful.
I'm still not ready for that one. I'm not ready for her, and I'm certainly not ready for the daughter, because apparently the daughter would do Housewives if her mother did it.
Lauren Manzo?
Yeah.
No, thank you.
So, yeah, I know. I don't
Stay
even
on Manzo with children, sweetie. I don't want it.
Well, that's no longer around.
Yes, exactly. So, stay there.
So, yeah, I don't even want to speak that into the world. I mean, I'm actually enjoying New Jersey Housewives for the first time in like 4 years. I mean, it's probably only been on twice in the last 4 years because they've had these extended hiatuses with the show. They always have to reinvent
They're holding
it.
out for their girl, Teresa. If Teresa's not in the cards, it doesn't happen as it should.
I don't think anyone should hold the show hostage.
Oh, see, it's Queen Tree. You know I'm a diehard Teresa fan. So
you're loyal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I mean, seriously, you could not watch New Jersey without Teresa. It just would not. There's not a strong, like, when Nene left, I was thinking, oh, wow, could this show go on and continue without her? I mean, clearly it did. The ratings were good. It could, but there were so many strong cast members on that show specifically, where New Jersey, there's not that strong character that can hold it together other than Teresa. That's why I don't know what's going to happen with Vicky and Tamara.
That's true.
Yeah.
So Daneille said that she's going to make Dolores to earn her way onto the show. You could tell she's pissed that Dolores is full-time and she isn't. And I swear Daneille has one goal, and that is to get full-time on that show, no matter who or what is in her way, no matter who she has to screw over. She wants another moment with versus Teresa to reignite that feud. She's looking to make magic hit twice, and I'm okay with it.
She's securing the bag for next season.
Yes. God bless her. So if you want to know my thoughts on Real Housewives of New Jersey, you can stay subscribed to this podcast. I put out shows Wednesday nights, mostly Thursday mornings. I record them right after the show, and I have different co-hosts who come on and chat with me about it. So if you want to get my thoughts, I'm doing a recap here on Grant's Rants. And for those who don't listen, just skip over them. Sorry. It's all part of the same feed. It's a bonus. I can't help it. It is what it is.
Who doesn't want to tune into New Jersey, honestly?
I don't know. I'm always trying to find different ways to keep this fresh, you know? Anyway, we're talking about a lot of reality queens on this show, especially Daneille. Someone similar to Danielle's stature, but a totally different flavor, Tiffany, New York.
I was going to say,
Pollard.
I think I know where you're going with this one.
Yeah. I mean, my God. I mean, I love her.
I'm obsessed. I told you. I'm like, that's the Angelina Jolie to me of a normal person.
Right. So I knew we had to talk about it with you on the show.
Yes, please. Anything Tiffany, New York involved, I'm in. She's
sold. In like the top 5, like easily, of people that I would love to meet or like most infatuated by.
When it comes to all time, like Housewives aside, because that's its own separate ball game, reality stars, she's number one. She's the number one reality star. I said she literally paved the way. People wanted to imitate this character, this HBIC, if you will, and we have to give her credit where credit is due because she deserves all of it.
I totally agree. Reality TV icon.
Oh, icon.
Tiffany, New York.
I'm still upset. I've been in LA almost a year and I have not met her yet. So Tiffany, if you're listening, we need to make this happen.
I'm close. She did that show Famously Single, and they literally shot at City Walk over at Universal.
Oh, did they?
And I was like, really? Like she's always very close to where I am. Like she was at AfterBuzz, and then 3 hours afterwards, I showed up. And I didn't see her. Like, it was like, I didn't know she was even there, but apparently I sat in the same chair that she was in.
Take that as an honor.
I was like, I can't meet her. And I think she's very attainable. You know, like I would love to meet Brittany, but I'm not going to pay like the $1,000 to the Vegas meet and greet. So like that's doable, but I'm not paying that. But as far as someone like Tiffany, she's like, I want about in the streets.
I know. She's in the LA area. This is her bread and butter. She's always here. But I was so upset because we have a friend, Christian. He's been on here before.
Yes, Christian Snow.
He met Tiffany outside of the Denny's down the street from us. I'm like, can we casually have that happen to us?
Oh my God, I'm so pissed. He's like a magnet.
Yes, he's studying. Yes,
I know. He knows right where to go when.
You want to know what? You want to meet a housewife? Have Christian show you.
I know. I love him. So Scared Famous on VH1. Tiffany's on this show, and are you watching the show?
Yes. So I just started watching Friday. I caught the first episode because I think only one episode just came out.
Right now, as of the time of the show, yeah.
With her, as always, the show could be absolutely trash, and I'm still tuning in. Not a fan of the show. The concept's cute. It's cheesy. I thought I would like it more. Like, I know they got to put a different, angle on it because we've seen now everybody in a house, different celebrities intermingling. It's Surreal Life, Famously Single, Big Brother. How can we make this different? So I understand that, but I'm not, like I said, I was telling you, I'm like, the house is a brand new mansion in Georgia with 50 acres, and they put some vines on the outside of it, and it's completely renovated on the inside. Like, it's just, they're not coming through all the way for me, but I'm still going to stick it out until she leaves.
I agree. I watched it, and they go in and they have these beautiful brand new Anderson crank windows, nicer than my own. I'm like, oh, this is supposed to be some dilapidated, historic.
No, that's Georgia land. That's 50 acres. You're back away from the road. Like, if you look at the aerial shots, the house is completely isolated from everywhere else. Yeah.
I like Drita from Mob Wives.
Yes.
Mob Wives loyalists. So I'm happy to see they're still pulling her out.
Yeah,
So,
I would like a Renee Graziano or.
Oh my God.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah.
Big Ange, but yes,
I know.
I love her.
I know. I feel like if Big Ange was still around,
She would have had that.
She'd be on all these things. She'd probably be
yeah.
on Celebrity Big Brother. So I'm wondering, looking at this cast, since this is like the, VH1 is owned by Viacom, who owns CBS, whatever. So I'm wondering if this is a similar direction of where they're going to go with Celebrity Big Brother, where they pull in these MTV and VH1 stars like Alaska from RuPaul's Drag Race. But I think a Mob Wife. I've seen the Mob Wives over on Celebrity Big Brother UK.
They had Marissa, which was a dud.
And Renee. They had
Renee. I live for. Renee was amazing. She turned that season out with Aubrey.
They need to put
O'Day.
her on CBS.
Yeah,
I mean, that would be a different type of show.
I just don't know, off topic, but the Celebrity Big Brother edition out here, I just don't know the direction that they're going for.
Same.
Because I've heard such a mix of people. I've heard like they're trying to get A-listers. So I'm like, an A-lister is not going to do that type of job anyway. And are we mixing in a Lauren Conrad, a Kristen Cavallari with a Tiffany New York Pollard? You know what I mean? Like is it going to be so diverse? Or are we going to try to keep a niche of like, you were saying VH1 stars, essentially, MTV stars?
Yeah, I was hoping they would go the way of like Celebrity Apprentice. At least it's like middle of the road. You can throw in a few wild ones.
Yeah.
But Julie Chen said that she really loved the way they cast Dancing with the Stars. And I ranted about this on this show before. Like, I mean, Dancing with the Stars, that's the bar that we're going to have for
I
this
don't watch
groundbreaking.
Dancing with the Stars at all.
No, I mean, Dancing with the Rejects. I mean, do we really need this?
But that's also another one where I feel like they do their variety is completely A to Z. It's like you'll have somebody who was popping a couple years ago, who it's like a household name, and then you have somebody where we're like, who is that?
Right. Yeah.
So,
like a 12-year-old from the Disney Channel. I don't know. Not 12,
yeah, exactly.
But like two people know him.
Yeah. So I could see them doing that. I would like it if they trashed it up more and brought on the people. I want a housewife for sure. A housewife who maybe hasn't had a job in a little bit and they're looking, to get a platform. So that would be a great outlet for them. Tiffany, obviously. We need like some old veteran blood in the mix.
If they're smart, they'd pay Tiffany whatever she wants. Yep. That's her thing. Because this is her thing.
She turned Celebrity Big Brother out. That was iconic. Like that's what started making me watch it because she was on it. And I've watched since that episode to the most recent, and it's not as good. She brought it.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I know. I'm always going to vouch for her. I need more New York in my life. And she belongs on CBS. She's earned her stripes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Put her
for
on
sure.
CBS.
She's an icon. She's an icon.
This show's Scared Famous. This has to be the fakest reality show. Yeah. And I think they could have gotten away with this maybe 8-10 years ago. But now everyone can see everything that's so produced. So this is almost like stale at this point. Like, I'm tired of the really cheap throw a bunch of celebrities, like the WeTV model. I'm really tired of
the marriage
like,
boot camps.
Yeah, I'm really sick of that. So this isn't the same wheelhouse, but I'm going to keep watching, like you said, until Tiffany's eliminated. I love a good competition show. This is
but even the competitions where I'm like, they're digging for like satchels of gold. I'm like, come on.
I need them. The Bachelor Nation is still strong. Figure it out with Flav or give. I love New York. Like, let's go.
Season 3.
Like, these shows live on Hulu. Like, they have growing audiences. Like, like keep it going. Like, I don't understand. It's not like VH1 is in some amazing place where it's like we're not going to go back to those days. They're
acknowledging what their great work as they should.
Yeah. So go bring it back. The audience is still here for it, and we're still do it while we're still in young demos. Yes. Please. You know what I mean?
The young generation, but people who I'm 25, I'm like people I would say who maybe are 17, 18. When that meme came out of her on the bed a couple years ago, you know what I'm talking about with the glasses from the scene
yes, yeah.
It would resurface. It literally gave her a new following. People were like, who is this woman? Then they start investigating. They start YouTubing these clips of the pumpkin fight, and they're like, we love this. It really revamped her career a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And if CBS cares about their digital footprint, they'll put Tiffany on because her fans are online and they will share then they'll make those GIFs. They will share those clips and that will give the show press.
And if they don't, me and Grant will be making a change.org petition to get Tiffany on. So keep it locked.
She deserves it. Well, when we come back, we're going to be talking more with Paul. We're going to be learning more about the podcast and why you should listen and a few other things that he's been up to while he's been out here in LA in a moment.
You're listening to Grant's Rants. Subscribe and spread the word. There are a lot more rants to come. Listen anytime on all major podcasting platforms. And now, back to the show.
And we're back talking with Paul Roysdon, and we're talking reality TV.
Hello.
And we're during the break, we're talking about bills. Kind of depressing.
What a great way to come back.
I know. Yeah, I want to have a good time.
Yes.
Forget it. So Paul is over at E. We're in the same building, but we're like in different. I feel like we're in different towers because we have different elevator banks.
I know.
So I don't see you, and you work a different set of hours. And I thought I came in early. I come into work for 8, and I think it's ridiculous. But you're like halfway through the day.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, my day is already pretty much started at that point. So yeah, the sleeping is definitely something. It's an adjustment. Yeah.
When you accept a job like that, like how do you talk yourself into it? Because it's clearly a great opportunity.
Oh, well, see, no question. I was like, as soon as I got this job, I was like, I didn't care if it was 12, 9, 6, 2. I'm like, it was, my whole like goal was to come out to LA to work for E. So I was like, any job that I got there, it was a done deal. Yeah.
It's just hard to live your life around that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I will do anything professionally, but it does catch up to me personally. Yeah. It's hard to like maintain for me to like be at that desk at 8 a.m. Like, it's hard for me to do that. I know you probably have no sympathy.
Yeah. No, I'm like, yeah. I mean, I get it because I'm like, hey, sleep is important, but I feel like, that's the way the cards are this time. And I'm just happy to have that opportunity.
Most people pay their dues, I guess, in equal ways, like some people have horrible bosses, some people have early hours, some people have, stressful environments, or like menial tasks, but everyone has to do it to some extent.
When you come out and you do a PA job and, you work your way, it's all about kind of like, it's a thing that I look where you think it comes full circle. You pay your dues and then one day it comes back where you're like, wow, I did this. I did. Everybody has that story out here, especially in production. So
I'm very patiently waiting.
Grant, it's gonna come. It's gonna come.
I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm like, all right,
it'll pay off.
Good. Yes, but yeah, it's funny that that's been on my mind this weekend. So it's funny the art of paying off things.
Yes, so the time will come.
What exactly is your title at E?
So my title is production assistant at E. So I work for Daily Pop.
Okay, so yeah. I used to watch Daily Pop all the time, actually.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, keep tuning in. Yeah, no, it's great. It's a different element of, E has E News, which is, it's been around for years and it's just strictly, news and it's, clean. And it's just like, a news program. And I said Daily Pop's a nice angle because it's more relaxed. They're sitting. They're talking about, daily topical stuff that's celeb news, but it's very opinion oriented.
Yeah, like a round table discussion.
It's just relaxing. And a lot of people like it from what I've seen. And it's, been perceived well just because people are interactive. It's definitely social media based, which, we have so many people that tweet in and Instagram, and their opinions on these stories. Like, we all have, I'm like, when I watch it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this person did that. So it gives these people, the outlet to, reach out and have their say. So yeah.
When does it come on? So people can find it?
So it airs 12 on the East Coast and then it airs 12 West Coast.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought it was live. Doesn't it come on live?
It's live. Okay. It's live, yeah.
I feel like I've seen it at 9. That's when I used to watch it. At 9 a.m. Pacific.
Because you might get the live feed at work.
Okay. Yeah. Because I know I've seen it live. Yeah. Okay. So it was something like this, like being a PA, like for me, like I had to work like super long hours. Like, what is your structure like of your day? Like, how long are your days? Do you do different things?
So my day consists on the day. I mean, if we have breaking news, definitely, anybody who works in news knows that can completely change a day around and, things, could come at you that you're not expecting. But my days pretty much hours are the same, 8 hours, usual work day, except my day just gets done very early. So, but it's just, research, footage,
research, pulling clips.
Yeah, pitching story ideas, and just the daily PA duties that consists of, getting a show together.
Right. I get that. So you're an East Coast guy.
Yes.
And so how did you get into this position at E? Is this your first LA role?
So I had I love this story because I'm somebody who used to watch E like every day so religiously. I grew up watching E! News, and then right after it would replay after, well, it would be Chelsea Lately, and then E! News would come on after, and that was like, you know, it's at high school, can't wait till I move out there. I'm going to live in LA. I'm going to work for E! And it was something that now when I look back, I'm like, oh, I just really like manifested that was going to happen. But I'm very, very like thankful because it's amazing that I can say like that, you know, something on my list that came true. So, but I just really, I grew up in New Jersey. I went to school in Philly. I worked at iHeart in Philly after I graduated college, Temple University, shout out. And then I just was very vocal about, you know, I loved entertainment. So the stuff that I did there was obviously entertainment based, but it wasn't the fulfillment I wanted. I knew it was out here and I knew it was at E! So I just, you know, kept telling people, you know, people who knew people out here, you know, that were higher ups at iHeart and just people that I worked with, you know, everybody knew Paul was E! Like that was his dream job. So I got in touch with somebody from E! Has a separate team, Live Events, where they cover, you know, main award season. They do the countdown show live for me, you know, so a lot of people are familiar with that if you watch E! And I reached out to somebody who changed my life, who, you know, put me in touch with their boss. And I had a phone interview and I got a call the next day saying, hey, we would love to give you the opportunity to come out for the Emmys for E! Would you? And I'm like, there was no question. I was like, yes, absolutely. So I had a week and a half to come out here. It was like mind blowing, life changing. But yeah, I booked my ticket. You know, my mom, my brother, they were like, so my boyfriend, they knew exactly how long I've been waiting for that opportunity. So it was amazing. So I came out. I did 6 weeks. So it was August 2016. Yeah. So I did the Emmys, came back to Philly, put our apartment up, you know, saying that our lease was done. And then I was officially asked back for main award season, which brought me out here officially almost a year ago in December. I did Golden Globes, Oscars, SAG, and the Grammys. And then after that, you know, stint was done, I just knew if I was in that building, I had to, that was my chance to really, you know, connect with somebody and say, hey, express how much I really wanted to stay here and how much I loved being here and how much I wanted to work there. So a couple of months, I had, you know, other jobs. I worked on Teen Mom, the after show. I did Price is Right. I did a show on OWN called OWN Tonight. It was after Greenleaf. So I did like, you know, other shows here and there. But in maybe March of this year, it started coming about that E! Was going to do a daytime show called Daily Pop, and I, you know, reached out to a bunch of people, and rest is history, and I was able to come on, and I've been riding with the show since it started. So it's amazing to have this opportunity, but it's amazing to start on a show from the beginning because it's really like, wow, you get to see something really, you know, evolve and grow. So yeah.
And daytime TV can be great to hang on to and climb. And
and I said it fits my resume too in terms of live stuff, because that seems what I've done a lot of live stuff out here.
Ooh,
so
that's smart. Yeah.
So, but it's been knock on wood all the time because I'm very, very grateful for it.
Yeah. What did you do at iHeartRadio?
I was a promotions assistant. So it was like essentially a production assistant, just with like a different name. So we worked like major concerts. We worked local concerts in Philly, but major ones like Jingle Ball, Powerhouse, where Cardi B just got engaged to Offset at. That was the one that I worked at. I'm like, of course I missed that one that year because that's like everywhere right now. But yeah, so just, you know, we would do like social at, you know, the concerts and just like, you know, just setting things up, talent wrangling, you know, all that stuff. So
great.
Yeah. So it's paid off.
Yeah, it really has.
Yes.
How did the Reality Rundown podcast come to be?
Yeah, so I met Amanda, who is our co-host on it, and Matt's my boyfriend. So I met Amanda. I'll automatically click. We work together on live events, and she's the sweetest person. And as soon as she expressed how much she loved Housewives, I knew it was a friendship waiting to happen. So we just talked about, you know, how much we loved it. And we're like, we talk about it so much, we should really like do something. Another thing about being out here is that I feel like, you know, you meet so many people and you're just like, your creative juices are always like flowing. I feel like you always want to do more. For me personally, I just always want to do something because I'm like, we're here, we're young, we have these great opportunities, you know, why not go about executing them? So we had talked about it, and it took a couple months for us to find, get it together and really plan and structure it. And our first guest was a friend of hers who was on The Bachelorette, and it was around the same time as the Corinne and DeMario scandal. So we're like, okay, perfect. This is relevant. We might not know what we're doing, but we're just going to go in and try. And, we're 10 episodes in now. You are our 10th episode, Grant.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I said, we kind of now, we're always learning and trying to change something, but it's, a work in progress in terms of you're always finding a way that you can change it and make it better. So.
Yeah, I was told with starting a podcast, it's going to be interesting to look back even every 10 episodes.
Oh, yeah.
And seeing how you've changed and how it's organically kind of morphed into something else. And I love doing that with this show and thinking like, oh my God, why did we ever talk about that? And why didn't we talk about this more? And looking back at like guests, and there are some people I would never have on again. You know what I mean? Like,
it's just nice to see, like I said, you just look and say, like, for example, oh, maybe we should just talk more and, get people to know, like, not that people care about what I'm doing in my life maybe, but it's still nice to, have like hear stories like, oh, I want to move out to LA. How'd you do it? And then you hear, so we have a lot of people when they come on, we talk about how they got their start out here. You were a full blown Housewives expert, so we just went right into it. But, normally our format has been, we have people who had a dream to come out to LA, how they get started, what gig landed them the next, and a lot of behind the scenes stuff of what, for me, when I watch TV, I'm like, especially now, like, oh, I wonder what went down in this scene that, if you see, especially in Housewives, there's a lot of stuff where you think, why did that person overreact so much in that moment? Like, what triggered them? There's a lot of stuff that we don't get to see. So it's nice to hear, people give their side and say, oh, well, this is actually what happened. So.
Well, you had a great episode with Leanne Locken, the pre-season interview that she got to tease things, which I think is so interesting.
Love her.
Yeah, that was a really good one. How did you come about getting her on your show?
I love Leanne and just, would talk to her on social media, and I just said, hey, want to come on? And she was so down for it. And, I sent her the link to the podcast and just talked to her and got in touch with her and just kept in touch with her and said, we would love to have you on. And obviously Dallas fans and, you're the star. So obviously it would be, perfect to have the star of Real Housewives of Dallas on. And she was so down to do it. And I would say Leanne's a friend now. Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, we love her, but she was so open, transparent. And that was by far like a great episode to get her on because it really just fit what, we discussed, which is Housewives. It was just perfect.
Yeah, I love her. She's so game. She
was like, we said to her in the beginning, like, hey, whatever you don't feel comfortable. No, I'll say whatever. And I'm like, we love you.
It's some of the housewives are easier to get in contact with than others. She's a good one. It's interesting how certain ones have so much red tape around them. And someone like her, who you'd think that everybody knows, I'm sure Bravo PR knows that she's like a loose cannon. You think they
she's
control
a truth
her.
Cannon, yes.
But I'm glad they don't. It's perfect for us.
And I think what she's saying is like what we see on the show. I mean, she might drop a little bomb that maybe, would not surprise anybody, but maybe something that we don't get to see on camera. But I said how she is on camera is how she is in real life. I feel she says it how it is, and she's honest, and she literally lives her truth for everybody to see. So until you get put in that situation, it makes me realize like, okay, maybe we can't be too hard on that person on Housewives because they're literally just being them.
There are so many factors involved too, in like editing and like, circumstances and quick cuts and stuff. It's like, it's hard to really go in on some of these people.
And I said, I think she got a raw deal season 1 for sure because they painted her out to be this person. But like I said this to you too. I said if there was no Leanne Locken, there would be no Real Housewives of Dallas season 2.
So true.
Just saying.
Where can we find this show?
So if you go on iTunes, this is like I always say, this is the easiest way to find it. The Reality Rundown podcast. We're the only reality rundown. So 10 episodes in. Subscribe, take a listen. I'm always looking for, people who are like you, Housewives fans that want to chat it up, or, a producer, and of course a Leanne Locken or, a Real Housewife to come in and give us what we want. So check it out.
It's good for behind the scenes intel. Give it a listen. Definitely. So back to you. What are your goals? So you've reached your goal of getting here and working at E. I mean, that's awesome. So like, what's next? Do you think about what's next? Do you just kind of riding the wave?
I love what I'm doing now. So I said, the to work so hard to be there. It's definitely like kind of okay, like a relief.
Yeah,
it's great to be there.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with that. I said follow the producer route. I do love reality TV, so I always say now when I am think of keep the podcast going. I would love to expand that more, obviously. But to come up with I would love to pitch a reality show, pitch a show. We were saying this too. It's hard to be able to pitch a show independently without having all these people back you and
get the right credits.
Yeah, and even if you do, I know we just had somebody on our podcast who was the original creator. I mean, he worked with Ryan Seacrest Productions, but he created Shaws of Sunset. And unfortunately, because he's working with a major production company like that, he's not credited as creator. But he had a $20,000 budget. Went out, shot the sizzle reel, cast it, found the talent. So, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have Reza and all those people on. But I said that, was something that I'm like, it's crazy how.
Yeah, those credits aren't always accurate.
Yeah, it's just crazy how, a lot of people have so many good ideas, but if you're not backed by, somebody powerful, it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
but I would,
tough business.
I would love
really
to
is.
get into, something to pitch a reality show. Yeah, just get some ideas flowing, some good stuff out there. So, and hey, if I was ever offered to Real Housewives of Hollywood, but husband style, why not?
Yeah, I know. I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with the future of reality TV in this Trump era that we're in. I just want to see how TV is going to change, because it changes a lot with the presidency and the White House, but even with the feeling of the country and what is next for reality TV? Because, the Housewives are established. Almost all of them at this point are pretty established. So, what's next? We're getting into season 13 next year of OC. I mean, that's
crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm proud to say it because I'm I've been riding with this train for a very long time.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I mean, I would love for it to stay on forever. I said, there are. So, look at Real World. They've had 30 seasons, 32, whatever one they're at. So, it came to a point where we're like, yeah, I'm not that interested. But I could totally see Housewives going for 20th season. Definitely. Some of them, I hope all of them, but.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see which ones last. I say this all the time. I'm curious to see which ones are going to hang on the longest.
For Orange County being the earliest, the beginning one, I see it lasting maybe the longest.
Yeah, I hope
just because the fans, I don't know. The season I was totally not interested in at all. Dallas is so much better, but, people our 1.7 million viewers are watching it. Yep. It's crazy. So
yeah, I know. And especially the cost of these shows. Now they're getting out of hand because they have to keep these women on and they have all these demands in their contracts.
Yeah.
But even the cost to produce these shows is so small for the returns that they get, especially even internationally. These shows are in every country and they have SVOD deals.
Well, they're talking about expanding, crazy. Like we were saying, to Boca or, Real Housewives of Palm Beach or Real Housewives of Santa Barbara. So, I think definitely the expansion of more cities is something that's going to come because when the older ones maybe come to a point where there's nothing, there's always going to be a storyline. It's just, are people willing to watch it? But
I think you're going to keep it healthy and fresh.
You got to add some. And people want to see a different mix of people, different diversity, a lot of that. That's what people like. I just
worry about having multiple ones on at the same time. That's my biggest, because it will burn people out.
Yeah. Well, especially the strong ones, because it's nice to put a newer one with a strong one, because that's what's going to give it the exposure. So
yeah. The three right now they're kind of similar to me anyway. At least they're the ones that I enjoy. So, New Jersey, I'm tolerating for now.
Oh, Grant.
But it's just kind of a lot to take on right now. I feel like there should be 2 and 2 only, but it's good when you're looking for something to watch.
Yeah. It's Dallas and Jersey for me. I'm like Orange County. I'll catch it the next day. It's just I can't do it.
Yeah. Well, anything else you want to promote while you're here?
No, just the
podcast.
Yeah, keep subscribe and just keep listening, and hopefully people enjoy it.
Well, thank you for having me on. I think I'm going to invite myself back on. I want to talk.
You're always invited.
I want to talk about the production side of things and my own stuff.
Yeah,
I'm curious to talk about more about that, because I don't really talk that much about my own stuff on this show, except just to promote, like, listen to this.
Because it's one-on-one, you're always talking to somebody. Yeah.
So I'd love to actually like see what comes out of my mouth with that one.
It was nice to have you relax and just able to chat whatever you wanted to yesterday.
Totally
No structure at all.
So if you want to hear my episode with these guys, you can look for it, I believe, the Thursday of this week.
Yeah,
so it'll be early November.
Yes, already. Oh my gosh.
Yes,
right?
I know. Like, what is that, the 2nd?
Yeah.
Thursday's the 2nd.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you so much for coming in.
Yes, thank you for having me. I know.
Supporting one another. The podcasters have to support each other. Especially, we're all in the same wheelhouse. We're in the same city. We're talking about the same shows.
Podcast support podcasts. Especially Housewives ones.
Yes. Amen. Well, I love you for listening. Keep up with the rants. Where can we follow you?
Follow me, Instagram, my name, Paul Roysdon, PaulRoysdon. And then Twitter, the same thing. But I should have, this was me in like 2010. I made the O's in my last name 0. So on Twitter, it's Paul Roysdon, but it's just O's it's zeros instead of O's. So yeah.
Oh my God, I
made it so complicated. I know. Why did I do that?
Yes.
We're done. Please leave. I'm asking you to leave.
Well, just as a reminder, you guys can like this show, Rants, Hollywood Talk, on Facebook. And we do have a YouTube channel with some bonus content up there. So if you want, subscribe. If not, keep listening here. I love you for listening. We'll be back with more rants.
This has been Grant's Rants. Support the Rants on Patreon. Follow us on Twitter @It's Grant's Rants. Cover art created by Howie Ronay. Voiceover by Aw Yeah. Original theme music composed by Alexander Arntzen. The Grant Michael Collection.